on that meeting, and we'll call the regular Monday, December 2nd City Council meeting to order. The invocation and pledge of allegiance will be led by Councilmember Herniman.
Thank you, Madam President. If you would all bow your heads and pray in your own way with me. Dear Lord, please grant us the wisdom, understanding, and patience as we look after our community. Give us guidance as we look to move our city forward. As we all took time to recently give thanks, we say thanks to our first responders and all city employees for their continued dedication. May our deeds and actions set an example for all we interact with every day. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Herniman.
Here.
Councilmember Kaler.
Here.
Councilmember Jones.
Here.
Councilmember Reesner.
Here.
Councilmember Snee.
Here.
Councilmember Thacker.
Here.
And Councilmember Hayes.
Here.
Let the record show that 7 council members out of 7 are present. Minutes from the last regular and committee of the whole meeting were distributed. Are there any substitutions, deletions, corrections? Seeing none, the minutes will stand as presented. We're now under the committee reports. Finance Committee, Councilmember Reesner.
No report, Madam President.
Law and Community Planning, Councilmember Kaler.
No report, Madam President.
Materials and Equipment, Councilmember Jones.
No report, Madam President.
Personnel and Labor Relations, Councilmember Hayes.
No report, Madam President.
Recreation and Public Property, Councilmember Snee.
No report, Madam President.
There's no report for streets, sidewalks, and sewers. Economic Development and Downtown Planning, Councilmember Herniman.
No report, Madam President.
Okay. Does anybody see the need to schedule a committee of the whole? Okay. We are now under reports of the officers. His Honor, Mayor Lee Wilkinson.
Thank you, Madam President. So this is the busy week of December, I believe. Coming up Thursday, we have the Jingle Mingle fundraiser sponsored by Operation Hallmark at the Chandelier on Thursday. Friday is the tree lighting ceremony from 5:30 to, I guess, whenever it gets dark enough to light the tree. And then the Kris Kringle Mart after that. Saturday, the continued Kris Kringle Mart and the Christmas parade in the evening at 7:30 p.m. So hopefully everybody's getting ready for the, lighting up their floats and vehicles for the parade. And then Sunday is the grand opening of the iceless skating rink at Oakley Park. Should be a good time for everyone. Hope to see you all there. And I believe this would be a good time to introduce our visitor from the State Auditor's Office to have a presentation to be made.
Hello, thanks for having me again. I feel like I was just here and maybe I was. I might have been somewhere, I don't know. But I am Lori Brody and I'm honored to be here on behalf of State Auditor Keith Faber again. And this is probably my second in-person one, but I have delivered the State Auditor's Award several times. And I will be reporting back how your solicitor brought up some training and public records and all the things we check. I thought that was pretty appropriate. I sat down and he offered you training. So that was really good timing, but no, that was great. But you have a well-run meeting. That's so nice to see. But it is my honor to bring this award to you again. And you might remember what I told you last time, but this does put your city in a select group because out of 6,000 audits and entities of different types, only about 8% still receive a Clean Auditor's Award. And to get that, you have to do quite a bit to get the Clean Audit designation. And really quick, the list, just in case you forgot, you have to file all your reports with the State Auditor's Office within 150 days of fiscal year end. And you can't have any findings for recovery, material citations or weaknesses, significant deficiencies, single audit findings, or question cost. And you also always get a management letter. I mean, sometimes there is nothing in your management letter, but when you get one, you cannot have any ethics referrals, question costs less than $10,000, lack of timely report submission, reconciliation problems, failure to actually get the timely single audit, You cannot have findings for recovery less than $100. You can't have any public meeting or public records infractions. And basically, you can have no other financial concern. So every year, I just think it's really important, and I'm always excited when somebody lets me come in, and most finance people do not want any recognition. So I was excited I got to come another time because I think it shows your hard work. But I do think you need to pass it on to your employees because they have to really strive every day for that accounting excellence and procedural. They might not even know they're doing it half the time, as council may not either, but without all those timely actions, it's really hard to get a clean audit. So thank you to your employees. But I also like to recognize council and mayor because you've done a good job accounting for every dollar of taxpayer money that comes through here. And that's just a really important job since you decide how to spend the budget and do everything with the tax dollars. But I especially always want to recognize my friend and finance director, Kathy, and her staff and everybody that she works with on a daily basis because their professionalism and just commitment to fiscal integrity really stands out. And I have 15 counties and like 860 entities in Northwest Ohio. So a handful get the award, and I think it's just really important to recognize once a year all the hard work you guys do, but especially give the award to Kathy to keep in her office if she would like. But congratulations once again to earning this award. Picture of this, right? Congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
I wouldn't miss it. Thank you for your hard work. I do appreciate it. The auditor appreciates it.
And I'd like to just follow up by saying thank you, Kathy, for all your hard work. I can't tell you how many times I've just walked into Kathy's office with no call or appointment or anything, just saying, are you busy? Got a minute? Can you show me how to do this? Can we figure out how to do whatever the next thing is that we need to do, or find some accounts that I need to pay, create a vendor's number or whatever it is. And then Kathy is like always right on it. So thank you very much for that. Appreciate that.
And thank you very much. And I would like to thank my staff. They are wonderful. They work very hard. This award means a lot to them, just like it means a lot to me. And I lead them, and they're doing all the really hard work behind me. So I couldn't do it without them. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you. And that concludes my report, Madam President.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Lori, for stopping by. We appreciate it.
I look forward to seeing you again next year. I will come. Have a great holiday.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay. Clerk of Council Ann Forrest.
No report, Madam President.
Director of Finance Kathy Kaufman.
Thank you, Madam President. I don't have a report tonight, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone understood the suspension for this evening, ordinance 24-103. I'm going to need to fund the postage meter one more time before the end of the year. I put a little bit more on it probably about a month ago, and with all the mailings that are going out, we're getting low again, and I don't want it to get to the point where I have to tell departments, you can't mail that out because there's not enough money left. So I'm going to put a little bit more on there to make sure that we get through the end of the year and we're not having to try to scramble to do it on January 2nd. I just don't want to get that close. And then, of course, we need more money for the police vehicles to make sure they have enough gas for the rest of the year. We have not received the November invoice yet. So we have November's that we pay in December, into December we pay into January. We like to make sure that we pay 2024 invoices with 2024 money. So we want to make sure there's enough there because you might short yourself the next year if you have to pay part of the December invoice with 2025 budget. So just want to make sure we have enough there. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Director of Law Zachary Fowler.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. I do have a few things for you all. First was, you'll note in your packet, you did see there was submitted the pay ordinance and amendment to that. The language of the ordinance hasn't changed. It's the attachment. There's just a change to a couple of positions. I don't know if I had mentioned last time, but since last time, we had a little change in federal law. Some of you are familiar, the Department of Labor had a rule for increasing the salary thresholds for overtime for who's exempt. That has been put on hold through a court case and unlikely to withstand any further challenges with the new administration. Most likely it'll go away. But since that is on hold, there was a position that was going to qualify, but now it won't because of that court case. So we just had to amend the pay ordinance to reflect that this position, I guess that it'll still qualify for being exempt. So that's the reason for that change. I think I had asked Kevin if he would just make that motion to amend. So my reminder for you. The other item is I sent you all a letter in the packet requesting a change. We had just changed this codified ordinance not long ago on credit cards. The request is just to modify the language of who the compliance officer can be. A little discussion between Kathy and I. We just realized that the language needed a little bit tweaked just to fall in line with the positions in the finance office. So that's the request. Whether you want to send that to a committee, you can. Or if any member wants to sponsor it, I'll just write the legislation. It'll be a very short change.
I'd be willing to sponsor it.
Okay, thank you. And with that, that concludes my report.
Thank you.
When should I make that motion? And at the,
You can do it at the motions.
just the motions, okay?
Okay. We are now under written communications. I'll ask the clerk to read the
Thank you.
communications.
We have Mayor's request for legislation number 24-45, adoption of hazard mitigation plan.
Mayor's request for legislation 24-45 will be assigned to the Law and Community Planning Committee.
Mayor's request for legislation number 24-46, road and bridge levy renewal.
Mayor's request for legislation 24-46 will be assigned to the Streets, Sidewalks, and Sewers Committee.
Mayor's request for legislation number 24-47, Court Street Streetscape Project.
Mayor's request for legislation 24-47 will be assigned to the Streets, Sidewalks, and Sewers Committee.
Finance Director's request for legislation number F24-64 to amend the 2024 Budget Ordinance 23-94 to appropriate funds into the municipal court and police department budgets.
Finance Director's request for legislation F24-64 has been prepared for tonight's meeting as ordinance 24-103.
And a letter from the Director of Law Fowler dated November 27th regarding the amendment to codified ordinance 135.14.
This will be on file in the clerk's office.
And that concludes written communications.
Okay, we are now under oral communications. Anyone wishing to step to the podium may sign in and direct your questions to me. Seeing none, we're now under motions. Councilmember Reesner.
So going back to, what was the subject one?
85.
Yeah, it was ordinance 2495.
95, okay. So I make a motion for the amended ordinance 24-95.
Okay, to update the pay schedule.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Is there a second? Councilmember Jones?
I'll second that motion.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion regarding this motion? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Herniman,
Yes.
Kaler,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Reesner,
Yes.
Snee,
Yes.
Thacker,
Yes,
Yes.
the motion has been approved, 7-0. Okay. Any other motions this evening? Seeing none, we're now under resolutions and ordinances.
Ordinance number 2024-94, introduced by Kevin Reesner, an ordinance to budget and make appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Tiffin for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2025, and ending December 31st, 2025.
This is the second reading of ordinance 24-94.
Amended ordinance number 2024-95, introduced by Kevin Reesner, an ordinance amending and restating ordinance number 23-95, the city pay ordinance, to establish appropriate rates of compensation for certain city employees to comply with the state of Ohio minimum wage law and declaring an emergency.
Okay, just to clarify, it's amended ordinance 24-95. This is the second reading of this ordinance.
Ordinance number 2024-96, introduced by Kevin Reesner, an ordinance amending the 2025 budget ordinance number 2024-94 to authorize the transfer of funds, the payment of bond and loan principal and interest, and declaring an emergency.
This is the second reading of ordinance 24-96.
Ordinance number 2024-97, introduced by Kevin Reesner, an ordinance amending the 2025 budget ordinance number 2024-94 to authorize the transfer of funds from the 101 General Fund to the 242 Park and Recreation Fund and declaring an emergency.
This is the second reading of ordinance 24-97.
Ordinance number 2024-98, introduced by Kevin Reesner, an ordinance amending the 2025 budget ordinance number 2024-94 to authorize the transfer of funds from the 552 Sewer Revenue Fund to the 557 Combined Sewer Separation Fund and declaring an emergency.
This is the second reading of ordinance 2024-98.
Ordinance number 2024-99, introduced by Kevin Reesner, an ordinance amending the 2025 budget ordinance number 2024-94 to authorize the transfer of funds from the 101 General Fund to the 331 Capital Improvements Fund and declaring an emergency.
This is the second reading of ordinance 2024-99.
Ordinance number 2024-100, introduced by John Hayes, an ordinance conforming the boundaries of the City of Tiffin and Clinton and Hopewell Townships.
This is the second reading of ordinance 2024-100.
Ordinance number 2024-102, introduced by Aaron Jones, an ordinance authorizing and directing the city administrator to prepare plans and specifications, advertise for and receive bids, and recommend and execute a contract to purchase personal protective equipment for the fire department and declaring an emergency.
This is the first reading of ordinance 2024-102. Councilmember Jones.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for immediate passage of ordinance 2024-102 and ask council to suspend the three reading rule.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second? Councilmember Reesner?
I second the motion, Madam President.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Councilmember Jones.
This is just the FEMA grant that Chief Chapo has been working on to allow the city administrators to start receiving bids on that equipment so we can get the fire department what they need.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the suspension.
Councilmember Herniman.
Yes.
Kaler.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
Hayes.
Yes.
The suspension passes with a vote of 7-0. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the emergency.
Councilmember Herniman.
Yes.
Kaler.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
And Hayes.
Yes.
The emergency passes with a vote of 7-0. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the passage.
Councilmember Herniman.
Yes.
Kaler.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
And Hayes.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-102 passes with a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance number 2024-103, an ordinance introduced by Kevin Reesner, an ordinance amending the 2024 budget ordinance 23-94 to appropriate funds into the municipal court budget and police department budgets.
This is the first reading of ordinance 24-103. Councilmember Reesner.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for immediate passage of ordinance 2024-103, suspending City Council's three reading rule.
There's a motion. Is there a second? Councilmember Jones.
I second that motion.
Is there any discussion? Councilor Reesner?
Point of information, this is, as is stated by the finance director before at the committee of the whole, this is for police, gas, and postage machines, it looks like for the municipal court. The amounts go to the 101 general fund, 5,000 and 10,000 respectively.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the suspension.
Councilmember Herniman.
Yes.
Kaler.
Madam Clerk, I'm going to abstain because this ordinance involves the funding for the Tiffin Police Department. I am a criminal defense attorney, and I occasionally oppose the Tiffin Police Department in court.
Councilmember Jones.
Yes.
Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
And Hayes.
Yes.
The vote passes with a vote of 6-0 with 1 abstention. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the passage.
Councilmember Herniman.
Yes.
Councilmember Jones.
Yes.
Reesner.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
Thacker.
Yes.
And Hayes.
Yes.
The vote passes with a vote of 6-0. Okay,
That concludes the legislation.
thank you. We are now under other business. I would like to announce a Streets, Sidewalks, and Sewers Committee meeting for December 9th at 5:15 in council chambers. The purpose of the meeting is to discuss mayor's request for legislation 24-46, 24-47, and any other business that comes before that committee. Is there any other business? Councilmember Kaler?
Madam President, I would like to announce a meeting of the Law and Community Planning Committee on December 10th, 2024 at 5:15 PM in council chambers to discuss mayor's request for legislation number 24-45 and any other business that comes before the committee.
Thank you. Is there any other business for this group tonight? Seeing none, we are adjourned.
We did it. Yeah, you see, we can.
He was all jealous.
Beat our record,
He missed the short meeting.